When it comes to portable water supplies, a standard 25 litre container is the most common container. However, it can be heavy and bulky and awkward to use. Not to mention when you're decanting that water, you actually get a lot of spillage. So what we're going to do on this DIY is to try and put together some simple taps and devices and modifications to the container which allows you to decant that water off easily without wasting a drop and without that back-breaking effort. As you can see, some containers come with a standard tap, but that's not always easy and suitable for your applications. We're going to play around with some different combinations. I've taken some standard components off the shelf at Builders, and we're going to modify these containers to suit our needs. I always like to focus on the lid because I don't want to damage the integrity of the container, and also when I'm transporting the container around, I can actually just remove this lid, replace it with a standard lid. That way there's nothing sticking out and nothing's going to be broken off, bent or damaged, and I'm not going to get any leaks out of my container. The first one I want to show you is making use of a standard tap fitting. Now there's a 1/2 inch BSP nut which is going to go on the back and secure that firmly to the lid. The most important thing is that you get a good seal between the two surfaces and the lid to prevent any leaking. I'm making use of a gasket washer. Now it's slightly different from a standard washer. It has a reinforcing inside the rubber, and that stops the stretching of this rubber gasket to stop it from bulging out as you clamp it down tightly and often getting a leak because of that. Now there's a range of different tools that you can use to make your hole. You can use a standard drill bit, a spade bit, a hole saw. I'm making use of a step drill as I drill through, so it steps down to all the different sizes, and obviously I'm going to stop at the size that I require, which is going to be 21 millimeters. When using a step drill, they are very aggressive and they cut very quickly, so you can very easily overcut the hole diameter that you want. So make use of some tape as a marker to stop you from going too deep. Drilled my hole and in goes my fitting. Now on the underside I'm going to put the washer and my back nut. There you have it. I have got a good seal and a good join on those surfaces. There's no chance of that leaking, so I'm not going to be wasting any of that precious water. I can actually make use of a standard tap fitting on the underside, and now I can connect it up to any garden hose fitting. Handy hint, if you have got a new container, often you'll find there's a slight raised edge where the molding line is, and often that's where this leaks unless you have to screw it down really tight. So just have a look and make sure that you have a smooth surface all the way around the top edge. You want to make sure that you get a good seal and a good fit. So there it is, that's that first connection done, simple and easy to do. The only difference between these two is I've got a standard quick release availability on here. Now the only problem that I have with this, they always have to be at an elevated position in order to connect to the underside or hang over the edge of a table. If you want it on the ground flat, you are going to have that problem of not being able to get to the underside of that tap. So we're going to now show you a standard inline connection which allows your container to be sitting down on the ground and you're still able to get that water out to use it for your needs. So we'll just dismantle this one and make use of this lid. I'm using a inline ball valve. I'm making use of some reducer nipples just to accommodate the different sizes that I'm using and also accommodating the amount of space that I have on the inside of the cap, which is obviously very important. Now I'm going to use the larger, flatter surface for my washer to butt up against, and I'm going to put that on the outside. Whether it's on the inside or outside, it's not the end of the world, but you want to use where it has a bigger contact surface. Push that in flush, screw that down. Now on the back side, again, I can make use of the back nut, or I can make use of a socket. Now one reason why I chose to use one of these is it's slightly larger and it allows me to get a stronger grip and to screw that down nice and tightly, opposed to that awkward space that I'm working in with a small little back nut. So it's up to you what you choose to use. Screw that in tight, and there I've got a perfect seal between my lid and my fitting. There's not going to be any water leaking out of that. I've got my fittings on there. I'm now connecting up my ball valve. Now between the two mating surfaces of the threads, I'm going to use some thread tape to prevent any leaking in those threads. Okay, one side of the ball valve connected. Then I'm going to make use of a reducing nipple because I've actually used quite a large size ball valve. You can use different sizes. It depends on what your application is going to be for. So again, a reducing nipple, and I've made use of a quick connector to connect to a standard garden fitting. And there's my assembly starting off from the lid, and I've got all the socket, the reducing nipple, the ball valve which is going to open and close and allow the water to flow, and I've got the quick connector which I can connect a standard garden hose to. That's a standard horizontal connection fitted. The whole reason behind it was so that I don't have to pick this heavy container of water up and put it onto higher surfaces to get that water out of that tap. Once it's finished, I can pull it back up, take off the lid, put on my blank lid, and then go and get it refilled. Now, if I wanted to be using this water to be connected to a booster pump and thus giving me a pressurized supply, I just need to make a few changes to the end nozzles and I'll have pressurized water which I can use for my washing machine, for a portable shower or a temporary shower, or whatever I need a pressurized water supply for. Now, I've made use of the Jojo pump and tank connector kit, and all I need to do is just change this fitting setup on the front of the container here. The whole kit comes with all the components. I'll just take off this piece off the back and we'll just swap those two over. There we have a standard inline connection. I've made use of the Jojo fittings which comes with a quick coupling connector. Now, the reason why I'm making use of this is as I want to be moving this whole container away on a regular basis, all I have to do is just connect up the pump like that. Once I've got the pump all connected, I can open the tap and it's applying that water directly to my pump. When drawing the water out of the bottom of a container, you do need to accommodate with an air vent at the top, just to ensure that the container does not collapse. With this system, I now have a portable modular system which gives me pressurized water. When I'm finished using it, I've still got water in the container. Just turn it off, disconnect the pump with a quick coupler. That allows me to take my container away and pick up my pump and use it wherever else I need it. Now, if a water source of 25 litres is not enough for you, you can connect the system directly to a bigger tank. It's up to you what size tank you use or container you use to store your water. If you want to make use of connecting to your standard washing machine, an easy way to do it is actually making use of the washing machine water line. I've removed that from the tap fitting or the inline stopcock fitting, and I'm inserting a male quick connector into the top of my washing machine hose. From there, I can connect up to my pump and onto the end of that line, and now I've got a pressurized supply of water going directly to my washing machine. Now, in summary, it's pretty easy to convert your existing container to be more suitable and hassle-free, not to mention removing that back-breaking effort of decanting that water, and at the same time, not wasting a drop. Make use of standard fitting from builders to suit your requirements. If you enjoyed this clip or found it useful, like it, share it. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find numerous clips just like this.